Who would be cruel enough to push a pregnant woman down the stairs? Before we begin, thank you for clicking on this story, a story about a betrayed wife fighting her way back against the people who tried to break her. When I was 6 months pregnant, my own younger sister pushed me down the stairs. I forced myself to stay conscious and tried to call the police, but my husband snatched the phone from my hands. Lisa, don't make trouble, Mike said coldly. Chloe has depression. Even if you call the police, it won't matter. Chloe curled pitifully into Mike's arms, acting fragile and innocent. I was covered in blood, pain tearing through my body until everything went black. I woke up in the hospital. Before I even opened my eyes, I heard their voices outside the door. Mike, you've loved my sister for years, Chloe whispered, but you still married me. Don't you feel wrong? Mike sighed. Everyone thinks Lisa is my wife. Every time we're intimate, we have to sneak around. I married you to make it up to you. Then came the sound of kissing. My fingers clenched tightly around the blanket. They felt like ice. The door creaked open. I shut my eyes immediately, pretending to still be unconscious. Chloe's heels clicked across the floor as she entered. Her voice was sweet enough to drip poison. Mike, do you think she'll ever wake up? If she does, she'll just cry and make a mess again. Mike chuckled lightly. If she wakes up, in her condition, she can't stir up any trouble. My breathing stopped. Every word stabbed straight into my skull. Mike walked to my bedside and lifted a corner of the blanket. His voice went cold. The doctor said, the baby couldn't be saved. My heart clenched so hard it felt like something tore inside me. My baby, gone? I almost opened my eyes right then, but Chloe spoke again and her voice was sharper than any knife. Well, that's perfect. She's so annoying. If your child turns out anything like her, I'd be irritated every day. Mike stayed silent for 2 seconds, then he said quietly, yeah, maybe it's for the best. I felt my blood freeze. Chloe giggled. When she wakes up, remember, tell her she fell on her own. A woman like Lisa won't leave unless she's pushed. They left together. The moment the door shut, I opened my eyes. Tears slipped down my cheeks, but they weren't warm. They were cold. A few minutes later, the door opened softly. It was a night shift nurse coming in to check the equipment. I steadied my voice. Ma'am, she startled and turned around. You're awake. Don't move, I'll get the doctor. No. I grabbed her wrist, weak but firm. I only want to know one thing. Is it true the baby couldn't be saved? The nurse froze. Her eyes flickered, then she lowered her voice. It's not that the baby couldn't be saved. She hesitated. Someone signed a consent form to stop the emergency treatment. My breath caught. My chest felt like it was splitting open. Who signed it? I asked. She bit her lip, glanced toward the hallway, and whispered, your husband. He said it was a decision the two of you made together. I closed my eyes as a chill climbed up my spine. The nurse continued quietly. When you were unconscious, they argued a lot outside. He told the doctor you were emotionally unstable and shouldn't continue the pregnancy. Absurd. Disgusting, monstrous. I forced myself to sit up a little. My voice trembled, but it was steady. Can you help me with something? What is it? She asked softly. I lifted my sleeve, revealing bruises all up my arm. I want a private room. And I want you to block visitation for anyone connected to my husband. The nurse stared at me, shocked. You're leaving him? I nodded slowly, for the first time. My eyes felt sharp as a blade. I want to stay alive. She inhaled shakily, then nodded with resolve. Okay, I'll help you. But promise me don't endure this alone again. My eyes burned, but no tears fell. I couldn't cry anymore. Crying only made them bolder. When she left, I reached under my pillow and pulled out the backup phone, the one Mike didn't know I had. There was only one contact saved, unknown. My finger hovered for a second, and then I typed, I need your help. 30 seconds later, the phone buzzed. Where are you? My heart jolted. The tone was familiar, cold, controlled. I typed back with trembling fingers. Hospital, Building B, 13th floor. A reply came instantly, don't move. I'll be there in 5 minutes. 5 minutes? Was he nearby? Before I could think, a knock came at the door. The nurse peeked in. Your private room is ready. A gentleman helped arrange everything. He said he's family. My blood ran cold. A man? What did he look like? She thought for a moment. Early 30s, black overcoat. Very intimidating presence. He said his last name is Cole. Cole. My heartbeat stopped for a second. Ethan Cole. The name echoed in my mind. My former fiancé. The man who disappeared 3 years ago when my father was sick and I desperately needed him. No message, no explanation, just gone, and now, he was here. The nurse rolled my bed into the hallway, and then I saw him. A tall man standing at the far end, leaning against the wall underneath the cold fluorescent lights, black overcoat, sharper jawline than 3 years ago, eyes like winter steel. Ethan Cole. He walked toward me, each step steady and unhurried. He stopped right beside my wheelchair and said simply, "Let's go." I blinked at him. Go? Where? His gaze dropped to the bruises on my arms, his voice low and controlled. You think I'm leaving you in a place that's trying to kill you? My throat tightened. Ethan, why are you helping me? He held my stare for a long, heavy second, then, in a voice barely above a whisper, he said, because the reason I left was for you. I froze, before I could process anything. He added, I'll tell you everything once I get you out of here. He leaned down to lift me from the wheelchair, but I raised a hand, stopping him. Wait, he frowned. Lisa, you shouldn't waste energy. I swallowed. If I go with you, you have to agree to 3 things. His eyes flickered surprise. Then something softer. Say it. 1, don't make decisions for me. 2, no more secrets. And 3, we're not lovers anymore. He stared at me, unmoving. The silence stretched between us, tight as wire. Finally he said, Fine, I won't promise the 3rd one will be easy, but I'll try. My heart clenched, but I forced myself to stay calm. Ethan lifted me carefully, no hesitation. His movements precise yet distant, not like before, not tender, just protective. He carried me toward the elevator. Just as the doors were closing, I glanced back. The hallway was empty, but I could feel it in my bones. Mike and Chloe wouldn't let me go quietly. Ethan's voice broke the silence. You're afraid they'll come. I didn't deny it. They'll cause trouble. But what scares me more is being dragged away again. Ethan let out a short exhale, almost a laugh, but bitter. I won't let anyone lay a hand on you, including myself. When the elevator reached the 1st floor, his assistant was waiting with a coat and a black file. Ethan draped the coat over my shoulders, then handed me the file. These are documents about Mike and Chloe. You said you want to fight back, so you'll see everything yourself. My fingers went still. He placed the file gently on my lap. From now on, you're not the victim anymore. I opened the folder. The first page was a photo Mike and Chloe entering a private clinic together. The date was from the day I was 3 months pregnant. My blood turned cold. Ethan looked down at me, his voice low and cutting. You thought everything was an accident? It wasn't. Before I could speak, a black SUV screeched into the hospital entrance. The door slammed open. Mike and Chloe jumped out. Chloe shrieked, Lisa, how could you sneak out of the hospital without us? I stared at her. What part of your behavior looks like family? Mike stormed toward me, trying to sound compassionate. Lisa, you're unstable. Going with a strange man is dangerous. Come back with me and we'll talk. Ethan stepped in front of me, blocking him. Mike froze. Who the hell are you? He demanded. Ethan's answer was calm, deadly calm. I'm the man standing beside her. My pulse jumped, but Mike reacted first, exploding. She's my wife. Ethan tilted his head down at him, his voice razor sharp. And that's exactly the problem. You don't treat her like one. Chloe ran up and lunged toward me. Lisa, stop trusting strangers. We're your family. You can't just abandon us. Ethan pushed her back, a single, controlled movement. Stay away from her. Chloe stumbled, screaming, Mike, he hit me. He hit me. Mike pointed a shaking finger at Ethan. You touch my wife's sister again and I'll call the police. Ethan raised an eyebrow. Then he dropped a file onto the ground between them. His voice cut through the air. Perfect. Call the cops. Let's all explain why you and Chloe visited a clinic when she was 3 months pregnant. Mike's face drained of blood. Chloe went silent. For the first time, I saw genuine fear on their faces. I felt steady, cold, awake. Every word I spoke was like a blade. I'm done looking back. Mike charged forward again, reaching for my wheelchair. Ethan grabbed his collar and threw him aside. Touch her again, just try it. Mike hit the ground hard. Ethan glanced at me. We're leaving. I nodded. Chloe screamed hysterically. Lisa, if you leave, what about us? What do we do? I turned to her. Emotionless, that's your problem, not mine. Ethan lifted me into the car. As the door shut, I saw Mike running toward us, only to be blocked by hospital security. The car pulled away from the hospital, leaving them behind for the first time. Ethan's car drove straight into the city, rain pattering softly against the windows. We stopped under a luxury high-rise. His assistant helped me out. But Ethan didn't wait. He simply lifted me into his arms again. I can walk, I muttered. You'd faint after 2 steps, he replied flatly. I didn't argue. He was right. Inside the penthouse, warm lights flicked on automatically. The apartment was spotless, minimalist, cold just like him 3 years ago. Quiet, controlled, untouchable. He set me gently on a couch and draped a blanket over me, keeping a careful distance. He sat across from me, silent until the only sound left was the rain. Finally, I asked, why were you at the hospital today? He looked at me, eyes dark and steady. Because someone messaged me, said you might be in danger. My chest tightened. Who? A relative of yours. He didn't name names. Someone who said your life these past months has been a kind of hell. My fingers curled into the blanket. When he didn't speak further, I inhaled sharply. Ethan, you disappeared 3 years ago. No explanations, no goodbye. You left when I needed you the most. He didn't flinch, but the pain in his eyes was unmistakable. Lisa, do you know why your father needed that money so urgently? My heart dropped. You investigated my family? No. His jaw tightened. He came to me. Everything inside me went still. He told me, Ethan continued, that if I stayed with you, I'd ruin your future. My throat locked. He told me you needed a stable marriage, someone connected, someone like Mike. He paused, each word squeezed out like it hurt. He begged me to walk away from you for your sake. My fingers trembled. Why didn't you tell me? Ethan's voice was raw, lower than I'd ever heard. Because your father was sick, your family was falling apart, and you were already overwhelmed. You couldn't have taken another blow. My chest felt tight and hollow. I thought, Ethan said quietly, if I disappeared, you would move on and have a good life. I stared at him for a long time. So much anger, so much grief, so much relief, twisted into pain. Ethan, I whispered, I'm grateful you told me, but I can't depend on anyone anymore. He nodded. I'm not asking you to depend on me, only to know that I'm on your side. Before I could answer, the doorbell rang. Ethan's brow furrowed. So late. The bell rang again. Harder. He stood, walked to the door, and opened it. 2 officers stood outside, one in uniform, one in plain clothes. Good evening, the uniformed one said. We received a report of a pregnant woman being forcibly taken from a hospital by an unidentified male. My pulse froze. Mike, of course. Ethan's expression turned lethal. Who reported it? Mike Stone, the officer replied. He identified himself as her husband. Ethan looked at me. Do you want to handle this? I nodded. Let them in. The officers entered and saw me, hospital gown, pale, bruised, stomach still visibly post-pregnancy. The uniformed officer frowned deeply. Ma'am, were you taken against your will? No, I said steadily. I asked to leave. The plainclothes officer added, your husband claims you're mentally unstable, that you've harmed yourself, and that you injured his sister today. I gave a short, humorless laugh. His sister pushed me down a flight of stairs. I almost died. My baby didn't make it. Both officers froze. That is a serious accusation, one said quietly. Ethan stepped forward with a file. And here are witness accounts, hospital monitoring footage, and her written request for a private room to get away from her husband. The officers exchanged looks. We'll need to review them. Ethan nodded to his assistant, who had clearly been prepared for this moment, and handed over the documents. Flipping through, the officer's brows tightened. Mr. Stone told the ER staff she was emotionally unstable. The plainclothes officer asked. He was lying, I said coldly. Because if I'm unstable, he can control me. The officer looked at Ethan. And you? What's your relationship to her? Ethan turned to me, waiting for my answer. I lifted my chin. He's my friend, and the only person I trust right now. Ethan's eyes flickered with something warm and painful. The officers closed the file. Understood, ma'am. If you need protection, we can help you file a restraining order. I shook my head. Not yet, but thank you. The officers nodded. Based on what we've seen so far, it seems your husband has provided false information more than once. Please stay cautious. They left. The door closed. Ethan exhaled slowly, his voice softer than before. Are you okay? I leaned back, breathing evenly. I'm fine, and for the first time it was true. I wasn't that helpless Lisa anymore. Ethan sat beside me. Lisa, you were incredibly brave just now. I let out a small breath. This is only the beginning. Ethan's lips curved a rare quiet smile. I know. And I'll follow your lead. The officers had barely left when my phone lit up again, Mike's name flashing across the screen. I stared at it for 2 seconds. Ethan looked at me. Do you want to answer? I pressed answer. The moment the line connected, Mike's voice blasted through, hoarse and hysterical. Lisa, are you crazy? Why did you send the police after me? I kept my voice calm. I didn't. You called them on yourself. He didn't even hear me. Come home. Now. You're mentally unstable. You need me. You can't be out there alone. I let out a low, cold laugh, Mike. Tonight proves one thing: I don't need you. There was a long, stunned silence. Then he snapped, completely lost control. You useless woman. Emotionally unstable. Everything that happened to the baby was your fault. Do you hear me? Your fault. Once. Those words would have shattered me. Not anymore. I breathed slowly and said, so you hurting me was also my fault? Silence. A panicked, dangerous silence. Then he screamed, desperate and vicious, stop accusing me. Chloe is your sister. She would never hurt you. You fell yourself. You're crazy, Lisa. I cut him off, Mike. The police saw the clinic footage. Another dead silence, colder this time. He choked. You have no right to investigate me. I have every right, I replied. You almost killed me. His breathing turned heavy, aggressive. Listen to me. He snarled. You belong to me. If you take one more step away, I'll make sure you're ruined. I'll make sure. Ethan snatched the phone from my hand. His voice was ice. You have 5 seconds to shut the hell up. I heard Mike inhale sharply. Who the hell are you? Ethan leaned against the counter, his tone colder than steel. I'm the man who will end every single threat you make. You can't talk to me like that. Lisa is my wife. Ethan laughed, quiet. Lethal. Not anymore. What? Ethan spoke slowly, clearly. From now on, you no longer have the right to speak her name. And then he hung up. A clean, sharp click. He handed the phone back to me. That man belongs nowhere near you, he said. I looked at him, a strange lightness filling my chest. You were a little impulsive, I said softly. Ethan shrugged. For men like him, courtesy is a waste of time. And suddenly the tight, suffocating pressure in my chest finally cracked open. I exhaled, long and steady. Then I lifted my head and said, Ethan, I've made my decision. He met my eyes. I'm getting a divorce. This time. I'm not running, I'm fighting back. Something shifted in Ethan's expression: pride, relief, something gentle and fierce at once. Good, he said quietly. I'll be beside you the whole way. But every choice will be yours. And for the first time in a long time, I felt like I wasn't drowning anymore. I set my phone down on the couch, silencing the last echo of Mike's voice. Ethan didn't speak. He simply waited, letting me take back control of my own life. I took a breath. My first step, I said, is cutting off every way he can reach me. Ethan nodded once. What do you want to start with? New phone number, then new email, new bank passwords, all of it. He controlled too much of my life for too long. Ethan opened a notebook, writing down each item with surgical precision. Number can be changed tonight, he said. I'll handle the carrier. Everything else will rebuild from scratch. Then I remembered my apartment, my belongings, my old place. My things are still there. You're not going back, he said immediately. If you go anywhere he expects, he'll show up within minutes. I swallowed hard. Then I don't want to step foot there again. I'll send people to pack what matters, he said. You just tell me what you want to keep. It was the first time in months that I felt safe. I looked at my passwords list. Bank, email, cloud storage. He had access to all of them before. I'm taking it all back. Ethan's mouth curved very slightly. That's good, Lisa. That's exactly what you should be doing. His voice was low, proud but not possessive, just steady. Do you think I can do this? I asked quietly. He didn't hesitate. You're already doing it. And I'm here for every step you choose. He slid the notebook toward me. Your pace, your rules. I took a breath. Then tonight, I change everything. He opened his laptop and started running programs fast. I watched him pull up reset portals, authentication tools, secure channels. But then my phone lit up, a notification, location access request from Mike Stone. My heart dropped. Ethan's eyes darkened. He's trying to track you. But how? I whispered. I turned off location sharing. Ethan picked up my phone and connected it to his laptop. Because he installed something else, he said. Something hidden. My blood went cold. You can remove it, right? He didn't answer with words, just typed faster. Lines of code raced across the screen. 30 seconds, he said. What for? To shut down his tracking and trace it back to him. Then flip it. My breath caught. You can trace him instead? Ethan's voice dropped to a silken, dangerous calm. He wants to find you? Fine. I'll make sure he's the one exposed. A red warning popped up. Ethan smirked, a cold, lethal expression. Found it? A covert sync app on your phone. not sophisticated enough to beat me. He tapped backtrace. A map popped up. A red dot pulls. Ethan's jaw tightened. Guess where he is? Where? He turned the laptop toward me, outside your old apartment building. My breath hitched. A visceral, crawling fear slid down my spine. He was watching, waiting, lurking. Ethan reached over, gently resting a hand beside mine, not touching, just grounding. Don't be scared, he said softly. He can't track you anymore, but now we know exactly where he is. He clicked again, location access. Blocked, tracking. Enabled. He closed the laptop with a quiet snap. From this moment on, Ethan said, he can't find you, but we can find him. For the first time in a long time, I felt the balance shift. I wasn't prey anymore. I straightened my shoulders. Ethan, thank you. But I'm not going to live my whole life under someone's protection. He nodded. I know. That's why I'm only doing one thing, buying you time to stand up on your own. I looked at the blocked alert again. My heartbeat no longer frantic but focused. Ethan, I said, what's my next step? His expression turned serious. Before he reacts, you need to grab one thing. What? He looked straight into my eyes. Your prenatal medical records. I froze. My medical records? Why those? Because tonight, I confirmed something. He lowered his voice. They're already tampering with your files. A chill shot through me. What? What do you mean? Someone at the hospital, working under Mike, has already deleted parts of your medical notes. My pulse hammered. Deleted what? Your fall, Ethan said quietly. They're rewriting it as self-inflicted accident, emotional instability, anything to erase evidence of harm. My hands trembled. They're trying to erase what he did to me. Yes, and once the original prenatal file is deleted, you'll have no proof the baby was harmed by outside force. I felt sick, furious, cold. Ethan leaned in, voice calm but sharp enough to cut glass. Lisa, if you want freedom, if you want justice, you must get those records now, before they disappear forever. My breath steadied. Anger replaced fear. You're right, I whispered. I need them. He nodded once. Good. This is your window. Right now they're confused, panicked, and they think they have control. He handed me my coat. You have 1 hour before someone tries again to delete the files for good. I stood slow, aching, but steady. Ethan, take me to get my records. He nodded, resolute. Let's bring back what belongs to you. We didn't waste another second. Ethan drove fast, the city lights slicing across the windshield. We didn't speak on the way. We didn't need to. Both of us knew exactly what was at stake. When the car stopped at the hospital's rear entrance, I stepped out into the cold night air. For the first time in months, my fear wasn't controlling me, my purpose was. Ethan walked beside me, steady as a shadow. I disabled the cameras on B2. He murmured, we have a small window. Let's go. I said. The elevator descended, humming softly. My heart pounded, not from panic but from clarity. When the doors slid open on the lower level, the lights to the records room were on. The door was half open. Ethan and I exchanged a look. Someone was already in there. Ethan held up a finger. Don't speak. We approached carefully. I peered through the crack in the door. A nurse, someone I recognized from Chloe's circle, was shoving a stack of files toward a shredder. The top page read, Prenatal Care. Fall Incident Report. Lisa Stone. My hands went ice cold. That was mine, my evidence, my voice, my truth. And they were seconds away from destroying it. Before Ethan could stop me, I moved. I shoved the door open. The nurse gasped, nearly dropping the file into the shredder. I grabbed the stack with both hands, holding it tight against my chest. My voice came out low, sharp, trembling with fury. This is mine. Why you can't take that? She stammered. Mike said. He said it has to be gone tonight or he's finished. Ethan strode in behind me, yanking the shredder's power cord from the wall with one swift pull. I clutched the file like my life depended on it, because it did. For once, I wasn't the woman they pushed, silenced, dismissed. I was the woman standing between them and the truth they were terrified of. Ethan turned to me, voice like a dark promise. Lisa, this is the start of your fight. And then, footsteps pounded down the hallway. A man shouted, she'll definitely come for the records. Lock the door. Mike's voice. Too late. He burst into the doorway, chest heaving, eyes wild. The moment he saw the file in my arms, the color drained from his face. Lisa, what are you doing? His voice cracked, desperate. I stepped in front of Ethan, straightening my back. My husband, I said quietly, wouldn't need to ask that question. Mike stepped forward, hands raised like I was a skittish animal. Lisa, listen, those records. They're not good for you. I stared at him. but they're bad for you, right? His expression twitched rage, fear, guilt all tangled together. You don't understand, he hissed. If those files get out, everything I've built, my career, my future, it's all over. I responded calmly. Then it sounds like you're finally paying for something. He lunged. Ethan blocked him instantly, shoving him back. Mike staggered. Ethan, stay out of this. This is between me and my wife. I stepped forward. You stopped being my husband the moment you protected Chloe over me. Mike froze. Lisa, you need help. You're emotional, unstable. I raised the file, cutting him off. This proves you're lying. He tried again, voice shaking. Lisa, we lost our baby. You can't blame me for that. My voice broke not from weakness, but from finally letting the truth sharpen. You're the reason my baby is gone. Silence, heavy, crushing. Mike's face crumpled into panic and fury. You destroyed our family. He roared, do you hear me? You know, I corrected him softly. You destroyed it. I'm just finally walking away. He lunged again, but this time I moved first. I sidestepped him and shoved him back with all the strength I had left. Not enough to hurt him, just enough to make him stumble. Enough to show him I wasn't afraid. Mike, I said, voice steady, I'm done letting you ruin me. But I will ruin you if I have to. Security officers arrived at that moment, drawn by the shouting. I turned and raised my hand. This man just tried to destroy a pregnant woman's medical file. I said clearly, I've already called the police. Mike went pale. He'd never imagined in 1,000 lifetimes that I would be the one calling for help, or that I would be the one standing tall. And in that moment, I realized something. I wasn't just escaping him. I was reclaiming myself. Security rushed in, taking in the chaotic scene, the shredder, the torn files, the nurse cowering in the corner, Mike grabbing at me like a madman. Sir, step back immediately, a guard ordered. She's lying. Mike shouted. She's unstable. She's a danger to herself. She's. I cut him off calmly. I'm perfectly stable, and I'm finally seeing you clearly. The guard stepped between us. Ma'am, these are your medical records? Ethan handed over the intact file. They are. Someone attempted to destroy them. The guard's expression hardened. Destroying medical documents is a criminal offense. Mike panicked. No, Lisa, baby, you don't understand. He reached for me again. Ethan moved in front of me like a wall. Touch her again and you'll be dealing with me, he said evenly. Mike's face contorted. Just then the clicking of high heels echoed down the hall. Chloe sprinted toward us, mascara streaked, eyes red. Mike, where were you? Did you go after her again? Do you still love her? She noticed the guards, then the file in Ethan's hand, and all color drained from her face. She screamed at Mike. You idiot. How could you not get rid of it? Mike snapped. You told me it was handled. They turned on each other, clawing, blaming, unraveling completely. Chloe shrieked. You said she was stupid and easy to manipulate. You said she'd never fight back. I lifted my chin. You've both spent years calling me weak, I said softly, but you never actually knew me. Chloe lunged at me. You should have died when you fell. The baby should have slapped. My palm collided with her cheek. The sound cracked through the hallway. Everyone froze. Even Ethan. Chloe stared at me. Stunned. You hit me? I held her gaze, cold and unflinching. That was for trying to kill me. The rest, the law will handle. Security separated them completely now. The police arrived within minutes, drawn by the hospital's emergency report. It didn't take long between the surveillance footage, the shredded documents, the nurse's panicked testimony, and Mike and Chloe's screaming confessions to piece everything together. Both were detained for investigation on charges including tampering with medical records, endangering a pregnant woman, possible assault, conspiracy. As officers led them away in handcuffs, Mike twisted back toward me. Lisa, am I really finished? His voice shook, a man realizing he'd lost every weapon he ever used on me. I didn't look away. This is the ending you wrote for yourself. Chloe, sobbing, wailed. Mike, you said she'd never fight back. I answered her calmly. You two never understood me at all. Ethan pushed my wheelchair gently toward the exit. With every meter between me and them, my breathing steadied, my shoulders relaxed, my heart lightened. For the first time in years, I wasn't walking away in fear. I was walking away free. Ethan spent the entire evening helping me settle into the new apartment. I sat on the couch, setting up my new phone number, new passwords, new email, a brand new life. He moved quietly around the place, installing cameras on the balcony, checking the locks, making sure every corner was safe. When he finally finished, he dropped into a chair, exhausted. I walked over with 2 cups, one hot water for him, one milk for myself. Thank you, I said softly, for all of this. Tonight, I felt like I survived. His throat tightened, but he only said, "You were always strong enough to survive." The cup in my hand suddenly felt heavier, not because of the water but because I knew what it meant. I was finally starting to trust again. Ethan took a sip, watching me carefully as though afraid I'd collapse again. I didn't. I stood taller than I had in months. Weeks passed. I finalized the divorce. My medical records were secured. Mike and Chloe remained under investigation. The chaos slowly faded, and my life piece by piece began to rebuild itself. One night, I sat on the couch with 2 mugs of milk. Ethan walked in from the balcony. I held out 1 mug. "Ethan," I said, "I'm not ready for a relationship." He nodded without hesitation. "I know. But," I continued, "I'm also done running from my own feelings." He froze just slightly. I met his eyes. "For the first time, I want to choose my life. And if I'm going to build something new," I took a slow breath, "I want you to be in it." Relief washed across his face, quiet but overwhelming. Not dramatic, not possessive, just real. He set his mug down. "Lisa," he said softly, "I'm not going anywhere. From the moment you needed me, I came back. And even when you don't need me, I'll still be here." I smiled, a genuine smile, warm and steady. "Then, let's do this slowly." He nodded, "As slow as you want." And maybe that's what real love is. Not the dramatic, sweeping, burning kind, but the quiet presence that stays through the bruises, the lies, the broken bones of your past, and waits until you're strong enough to lift your head again. When I finally did, he was there, just like he said. Thank you for finishing today's story. Please share your thoughts in the comment section. If you enjoyed the story, remember to like and subscribe to my channel. There are more amazing stories waiting for you to experience with me. See you tomorrow.